It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Florida A&M's social media content creator, Nick Bolding. How are you doing today?
Fantastic, man. Can't complain.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to work in college athletics?
Man. Um, actually, I didn't, if I'm being honest with you, bro. So I wanted to be a ball player. I love basketball. I'm a diehard LeBron fan, basketball fan. I love Miami Heat too. Go Heat for the series, man, today. But I just there was a lot that had happened that made me choose this decision. But one there's a lot of story. I used to pay for my basketball training by making videos for my coach. And so that's how I started getting into content creation in high school. And I always wanted to be like a YouTuber, make videos when I was in middle school. And so going back to it, I'm playing basketball. I'm trying to make the high school team. And then at game days, I become the video guy. So I started recording up for Huddle and doing all that kind of thing. And fast forward, I realized I could start selling these things to people. So I started selling the tapes. I'm making mixtapes doing that, and I started trying to build my own business out of it. One time, I had my friends go out to a little like college showcase camp, and I had people on every single court recorded with their phone, and we were making mixtapes. We did great. We made a good profit, and it was really fun. I got to record basketball for the day. But fast forward, I know everyone talks about the pandemic in 2020 and all that stuff. But going to the pandemic, I realized that I was trying to move to Georgia with my best friend. His name was Peter. He had told me that, Nick, we don't know what's going to go on with Biden taking presidency. He's talking about doing sports, like shutting sports down at the time. He told me I didn't do my own research. And so I'm like, you're right. And then my friend Jason Bontemps hits me up and he says, Nick, can you make me a video, workout video? I said, of course. So I make the workout video. He's taking me home and he's like, you could really do this thing seriously. He said, though, you can impact these players and really help them get to that next collegiate level with making videos and really help get that film out there. He's like, Nick, I'm a coach right now at a prep school called Elite Academy down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's like, I can get you in for the summer AAU stuff. You just have to go buy a camera. So I prayed about it. I did my thing with that. I invested in my whole entire savings into the camera, and I just say screw it. So I travel with this team I've never met. I don't know any of these coaches. I don't know any of these players. Jason Bontemps didn't come with me, and I'm just here traveling, sleeping next to these guys in a hotel room, not knowing what I'm doing, making videos. And so that led me to just start making videos, traveling with AAU teams. I started going to my local gymnasium from where I'm from in Coral Springs, Florida, and I'm just recording, and I love it. I'm like, okay, I'm around the game I love. I'm making the extra money. This is great. So fast forward about, I don't know, 9 months down the road, 8 months down the road, I ended up quitting my job of 3 years. I worked at a place called Sicilian Oven. I was a busboy, a prep cook, I was a line cook, I did food running, I did cashiering, answer phones, you name it. I was kind of trying to be the person who can learn it all to be the most valuable I could be. And so I quit that and I just decided to do this thing full time. So I'm making these practice mixtapes. I'm doing everything. And well, I ended up getting a job. I ended up realizing I might have to get a job again. But before that happened, I met my fiance, and her name is Sophia, and I ended up moving up to Tallahassee. Well, call it coincidence or not, I'm like, I had this feeling. I started doing this podcast with my friend named Justin, start producing stuff. So now I'm getting around the city a little bit. Mind you, I knew nobody up here really. I didn't have any business, nothing. And I started making these little mixtapes, doing podcasts for as many people as I could, but there's not a big AAU scene up here like there is down south. In Miami, Coral Springs, Deerfield Beach. Like Deerfield's where LeBron James' son comes to play, Tyler Hero's son, brother, so on and so forth. And I one night I just get this feeling I should go knock on a door, this random door, and there's a party going on. So I do. I don't know why. I was praying about, my God, why am I gonna knock on this door? But I just kept feeling something tell me go knock on this door. So I do. And FAMU football walks out of my neighbor. And I just start talking to him like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, hey, what's going on? You guys have a party, so on. So we just start talking. And ironically, the craziest part about this whole thing was him and another player were the players my partner Justin for the podcast had canceled on the day before that we were supposed to meet. So I'm like, oh my goodness, yeah, I work on a podcast. That was you guys. Because I didn't know who we were supposed to record. My guy just said, Justin just said, hey, get out here. We're gonna do this podcast with FAMU. I said, okay, let's do it. Mind you, I really didn't know what FAMU was at the time. I was actually trying to go work with Alabama State University. They showed interest in me because I was on a 7-on-7 camp, a college camp with Miami-Dade Christian at the time, and so I was just trying to go work there. And I kept hearing FAMU. I didn't know what FAMU was, but I kept going. And yeah, fast forward back to me talking to the receiver. His name's Day Day, by the way, Darren Oxendine, number 83. That's my guy right there. He walks out. We start talking. I show him previous film I've done on the 7-on-7 camps and stuff. He's like, "Oh, I need someone to record. I would love to get a mixtape. Can you come out and let's get connected?" So I said, "Sure." 2 weeks later, I text him, and I'm pretty spiritual, so I like to pray every morning. And 2 weeks later, I get up in the morning, I say my prayers. I feel God tell me that I'm going to be on a football field today. And mind you, I didn't think that. I had to do Miami-Dade's mixtape that day, and that was all I planned to do that day. Plus, I had left my car parked at my apartment while I was at my fiance's, knowing that I wouldn't be able to get anywhere. Well, I hit Day Day up. He's like, yo, let's go shoot for later this week, Thursday. And then this is Tuesday. And he's like, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. He texts me, matter of fact, the boys are going on the field right now. Can you come out? I'm like, I'm gonna be on a football field today. This is crazy. So I come out, I just start going out there. I'm out there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I get out there, but they cancel it. And so Friday. Then the recruit, the one of the tight ends, his name is Kobe Gross. He shows the recruiting coach, Coach Press, my video I did for them. He was like, oh, this is hard. Let me, I told him, yes, I'm looking for a school right now. I was trying to go to Alabama State, but I think they ended up ghosting me. So I'm just trying to, get connected any way I can, get better. He's like, all right, let me give a call to Josh, which is the director of communications and media and communications, I believe. And he kind of handles social media and does all that stuff. So I get the meeting with Josh. I get scheduled. I come up. I'm like, hey, Josh, my name is Nick. I was looking to get hired as a content creator. He's like, well, unfortunately, due to budget cuts and stuff, we don't have money for, content creators. So like, if you guys have scholarships, like, no, he's like, the only thing we could do right now is kind of let you volunteer. So I just start volunteering. I get in the Zoom meeting. I meet all the other videographers and social media people. And fast forward, this is the game. UNC is the first game. And I just drive out to UNC randomly. They told me not to come. I drive out after doing the whole summer camp and I just start recording, man. And that's kind of how, after that, I just kept going, kept hustling, always trying to put my best foot forward and always being there for as much as I could. And every time that they called me, I would always try to say yes as much as I could because this is something I love, something I believe in, it's something I'm very passionate about. So,
Of course, once you got the job, what was that feeling like going to UNC to film for the first time?
man, surreal. The energy from the crowd. Let me tell you something. Going up to Chapel Hill, I've always wanted to make it to the NBA, like when I was younger. And a big part of that's because my dream was to be able to hit a three. I was a shooter. I love moving off the ball, kind of like a Duncan Robinson, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, Klay Thompson, and feel the energy of the crowd. So to be able to feel that same energy from the thousands of fans at that first game, coming from, working with an HBCU, the fact that we can play at that level is insane.
Of course, what was that feeling like the first time when you did get that opportunity to work with the Orlando Magic for a short time?
Oh man, it's a dream come true. I was in absolute mesmerization. I was just FaceTiming my grandma, my parents, everybody, showing them around because I actually wish I hope I can get another opportunity to do the Magic game because I was so starstruck my first time. I didn't really produce the content I wanted to really get out. I wanted to make a dope video. I didn't really feel like I could properly showcase my skills from that trip because I was just so mind blown at like, oh my goodness, this is a dream that's coming true, you know? So yeah, man.
How was that like, obviously getting started and creating your own business in videography?
Man, so it's definitely been a long journey. So I've always wanted to be in like my own business since I was a kid. I was selling jewelry with my grandma. Like I would make little bead jewelries. I would try to have garage sales, cooking, so on and so forth. And it's definitely been a long road and it's not even close done. So my business isn't just videography. I do photography, videography, and social media marketing. And I do it for a couple companies, one company down south, a couple local companies, and one remotely for a four-time Super Bowl champion, Lionel Vital. I do that for him too. And it's been a great journey. It got a lot of room to grow and a lot more progress to be made though.
What was that experience like getting to work for the university and also for the athletic program?
Amazing. Nothing short of amazing. Feel like it goes back to the energy of the crowd. I will say one of my highlighting moments was when they asked me to make the fourth quarter video for homecoming. And if you don't know, FAMU's homecomings, like how would I explain it? Almost like it's humongous. It's nothing like it. Everybody shows up, all the alumni, the parents, the crowd, the fans, it's packed. And so to be able to make the video that they play going into the fourth quarter and hearing the fans cheer on after the video and it playing in front of the whole stadium, that was something I never thought would be possible.
Of course, after getting the job as the social media content creator, what does a day in the life of a social media content creator look like?
It really depends because everything is so seasonal. You know, it depends on what season it is. But I mean, a normal day in life for me would be, and this is not just FAMU content, but this is just my own content as well as far as my business goes. It'd be wake up around between 6 and 8 a.m., sometimes on later at 9. Just say my prayers, read a little bit of my Bible, and then I would get up. It really just depends on the project. If I got a project going, sometimes I'll have 10 projects to do that day between having to post all the social media content, create social media content for different businesses, including FAMU, um, and organize future events, hustle, things of that nature, and answer everyone's needs. So I'd probably work from about 9:30 after breakfast and whatnot till it could be about 9 or 10 at night. And usually about, I don't know, between 5 and 7, I go to the gym.
Of course, what is that like creating that content for the social media and then seeing that being posted on the social media for FMAU?
Surreal. It's something that when I see all these people liking it and I see everything going on, it's crazy. And I just want to note that I was able to do one of my friends, he just signed to a big label as far as musicians go. And it's the same feeling with him. When I see, all these thousands of people liking the content that I created. I mean, I made this. I watch other people's videos and I'm like, wow, their content's so good. It's amazing. And just to really look back and say, I could do that is awesome.
What are some of your roles and responsibility as the social media content creator?
Yeah, man. So I'm currently an intern right now still. And it's they can be a lot or they can be a little. I know that for future jobs, they're taught, it'd be leading people, it'd be making sure that there's videographers wherever there needs to be. Oh, are you there?
Hmm?
I'm sorry, I cut out. But yeah, future role hopefully it'd be leading people, making sure there's videographers where it needs to be, making sure that the content's going out for each sport. But I know as far as right now, making the game day hype videos. I know I did women's basketball. They run out, they run out the train, they run out like the bench where they do the line. Making the women's basketball game day hype videos. Hopefully gonna be a lot more in the future, doing the fourth quarter video, making the content for the players that do really well during the game. Say Xavier Smith got 300 receiving yards in the game, something crazy. Making that content for them, or Jalen Bates dropped 60, making sure I get the highlights out, making sure that courtside, I'm getting stuff out in real time. I'm making sure I have my laptop next to me when I'm at the games, and I'm sending it all to my boss Josh, and making sure he can post that out too. When someone hits a home run, right out. It just depends.
Of course, what is that like obviously getting to work with the football team and basketball team? And do you work with other sports besides those two?
So yes, I do work with other sports. I work with football, basketball, softball, baseball, and then I had the opportunity to work with tennis. I think I had food poisoning that day, so I didn't actually end up going. But yes, I try to work with as many sports as I can, and it's crazy. I'm an avid basketball fan. I love working on basketball. It's by far my favorite because I absolutely love the game. I love being around the game. It's in AC when I'm recording. It's not in the hot sun. So that's cool. I'll say football definitely there's a lot more energy. But the cool thing about basketball and football too, but basketball, I got to go to the West Coast for my first time last season when we played Oregon. We flew out to Oregon. I got to experience travel and see all these different things. And it really felt like a family with basketball because it's not a 110-man roster, you know? And it's still a family too. Like the whole school, like if I described FAMU in one word, it'd be family. They took me in and they showed me nothing but love. I just feel I have more a personal relation with basketball. And I do have a personal relation with some of the football players, like Darian Oxenden, for example, but not all of them. Like basketball kind of.
Of course, what is that like? Obviously, as you said, getting to travel with the team to do content and go to places like Oregon and to the West Coast.
And the question is, what is it like?
What is it like getting to travel with the team, creating content?
It's cool because it makes me feel part of something bigger than myself, which is something I love. I actually love what I do, and I just want to be the best at what I do for the greater good of not only myself and my family, but for my school.
Of course, how has it been like obviously getting to work with the women's sports like softball, volleyball, lacrosse?
It's cool. So we don't actually have lacrosse, but I will say softball is our number two most popular sport out of FAMU. So it's a lot of energy at the games. You know, I love the chanting that they do in the dugout. Sometimes in the dugout with them, and they start in song and chanting. So that's pretty cool. You know, I've never been a baseball softball fan as much, but as of this past season working with them, I've definitely grown love to it for sure.
Of course, what are some similarities and differences between working with, let's say, the basketball team and football team versus the softball team?
Yeah, I have more of a personal relationship with the first basketball and football team. So they're a lot more friendly with the camera. They're always dapping me up when I walk in the locker room. You know, I feel more like, of course, I'm part of all the teams, but I feel more like I'm really a part of the basketball and football team. Whereas softball, I know I'm a part of, the overall FAMU team. I'm here to make sure that their content gets out, make sure that we're keeping those interactions up, making sure that we are benefiting the school and growing as a whole, hopefully bring new recruits in, keep that social media awesome. But, there's also a lot more action involved with basketball and football, whereas softball, it's not as fast paced. So it can be a little bit more challenging to make the videos engaging.
Of course, as a content creator, what is that like to have that front row seat in front of the FMAU fans and stuff?
It's awesome because I get to catch their reactions. I get to catch the home run when it happens. I get to watch when someone dunks on somebody, someone hits the game winner, and being able to capture that moment and then to also capture the fan reactions, it makes for an overall great video.
Of course, what is it like getting to work with the social media team as a content creator?
Great. Like I said, I feel like I'm part of something bigger than myself. Really.
How how are you able to balance your work life as a content creator and your personal life outside of FMAU?
Being flexible. Simple as that. When my fiance needs me, I'm there. It's not a if and or but. I'm there. If my friends need me, I try to be there as best as I can. Of course, sometimes certain things trump other things, but I'm always trying to be there for everybody to the best of my ability.
Of course, what are some of the things that you've learned so far about being a content creator that you didn't know beforehand?
The time it takes, because some videos they take me an hour, some videos take me 12. Especially when I first started, videos would take me 12 hours, 2 days, 3 days. Now depending on the video, some videos take me an hour, some videos take me 4 or 6, depends on what it is. But between that and understanding that I'm barely scratching the surface. It's crazy. Like I see my progress from last year till now. I'm like, wow, I feel like I've grown so much. But then when I look at the bigger picture, I'm barely anything compared to these other guys out there. Like I have so much more to learn is what I'm trying to say.
Who are some of the inspirations that you find when working in the social media world?
Um, I'd say probably, well, for one, I love what my partners do. John Rock Film at John Rock Films on Instagram. He just picked up I think it was an ABC Network internship, and he just won the Coca-Cola Grant Sports Emmy for sports video with FAMU and Stretch Life or Stretch Life Visuals. He has his own studio and photography company here that does great. He makes some of literally the best photos I've ever seen in my life. This man takes. Shout out to at Stretch Life Visuals. And then I'd say No Cap Visions, the way that he can capture every single moment. And he works with Stephon Diggs. He's Stephon Diggs' videographer. The way that he captures every single moment and makes it into a movie it's pretty cool. I'd say it's phenomenal.
Of course, what are some of the pro teams or college teams that you look up for inspiration to help you at FMAU?
UNC. I'm a big fan of UNC's Instagram. I love what they do and how they do their social media. I'd say USC as well, University of South California. Them, UNC, and that's just because their video content. USC was one of the number one, or I think it was number one in social media interactions just last August, and we came in at number 16th, out beating FSU at number 19, which is pretty cool. I'd say those would be the two major schools I look for inspiration.
What are some of your future plans in the social media content world?
To be determined. I only hope to grow, and I know for sure my business is the way I'd like to go, according to God's will, man. So I really don't know what's gonna happen, but I'd like to continue growing my business, open up my own studio. But also, I want to continue with FAMU. I want to try possibly make it to the league. My passion to make it to the league was really high before, but then because it was a dream, and understand that the NBA is still just a company, or maybe because I can make my own company doing what I love. And I do want to make it to the NBA. Don't get that twisted. But yeah, I have such passion for it. It's really, really, really a dream of mine. And I really want to do the best content I can. But I also understand that if I don't make it to the NBA, I can make a name for myself without that.
Of course, what advice would you give those people that are looking to become social media content creators?
It doesn't matter what you have. Go out and shoot as much as you can. Like it doesn't matter if it's an iPhone or a low camera. You can make magic with anything. It's not, don't be a perfectionist. Get better through every video, but don't just do one video trying to get better in that one video.
What advice would you give people such as yourself looking to work for a sports company, sports team, whether it's on the collegiate or professional level?
I'm sorry, Kyle, what advice would I give people such as myself looking to get into sports as a
Looking to,
professional?
looking to work on the collegiate or sports,
Yeah,
collegiate or professional level.
I'd say know your resources. In this world, it's not just about your skill, but it's also very heavily reliant on connections, and that's anything. Um, know your resources. So a lot of colleges they look to bring on student interns and not so much hire. In professional world, they look to bring on interns like NBA, NFL, and you can get those positions really either one if you know somebody or two you just apply, and you're gonna get turned down no a lot. You're gonna get no's most of the time, but eventually you're gonna get that one yes. And I'll say that Teamworks Online was a great resource for me. I know that they have anything from sports broadcasting to journalism to cleanup crews to videography, social content creation, coaching positions that open up for like younger kids, for specifically for MLB, NBA, NHL, UFC, and a few of the other major league things, G League, and all the minor league stuff. So I'd say know your resources, man, and just keep going.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Yeah, so you guys can find me at NRB Visions on Instagram, at NRB Visions on YouTube, and trying to think here. And then www.nrbvisions.com will be coming very shortly. It's already a domain, registered domain. I'm currently just building the rest of the website, so you can go ahead book me for any photography, social media, or videographer needs that you may have.
Thank you again, Nick Boulding, for your interview and best of luck in your future at Florida A&M as the social media content creator.
Really appreciate it, Brandon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Nick Boulding, for your interview and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.